What's up, guys? Welcome to the Savage Ladies of Metal. We are here with Mike from Traverse the Abyss, and we're about to play for you their Franken video. So check it out. It's going to be cool. Give me a second. I got to find it. Shoot. Okay. Still getting used to this, but I got this. All right. This is Traverse the Abyss with Franken Shuffle. Play. Awesome. That's a great song, man. I mean, I gotta say, my favorite part of that video is when Death was handing the one girl the cigarette, like smoke, and she's like, "Okay." Oh, hold on. There you go. And she's just like, "Okay, what the hell?"
That's a killer video.
That is awesome. So that was, I mean, just the whole Halloween thing. I'm a Halloween fanatic, huge Halloween fanatic. I love it better than Christmas by far. That's not even a question. What was the inspiration for that song? Oh, hold on. I got you on mute. Hold on. There you go. What was the inspiration for that song?
So it's hard to say. Like musically, usually the way that we write music is 9 times out of 10 we come up with more or less like if it's like everybody clicks with like a guitar riff or something like that, and then we go from there. But the the song itself, like the name Frankenshuffle, actually comes from we were playing a Dark and Heavy Fest, and this was back when we had our school bus, because now we have a different bus.
Mm-hmm.
Actually show you because it's outside. But basically, there was anytime that people came onto the school bus, we had it remodeled a few different times. Like at one point, we had a futon in there, and it's just always different. But eventually, we ended up doing benches and had like quick storage shelves. So as soon as you walk in, like you've been on a school bus before, so when you walk in the doors and you turn left to go like into the seats, there's like this wooden block there, so you have to like duck underneath it. You can't even, I can't stand up fully in the bus, but on your way out, everybody always hits their freaking head off the thing, and we ended up making tally marks for any time that anybody would hit their head. And while we were playing Dark and Heavy Fest, there was this girl there, and she was like completely smashed out of her mind, and she was on the bus, and I think her and the bass player, B-Knock, were kind of hitting it off. But when she went to go get off of the bus, it's probably the worst we've ever seen anybody hit their head. Like, we thought she was going to be in a coma. But she ended up nailing her head so bad. And when she did, she fell backwards, but she was going like this, which is actually where everybody in the video was doing. And that's honestly where the song derives from.
That's
That
great.
Wow.
I mean, it's not, but it is. So the idea, so that would explain why everyone was doing this. I called that the Frank and Bang. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah,
I'm like, the Frank and Bang is a thing, but no, I get it. That's great. The Frank and Shuffle.
And some of the good songs come from things like that.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm glad she's okay. Hopefully she didn't have a concussion or anything, but
she was all right.
She I don't know if it knocked any sense in anyone's head doing it, but it worked for you guys, and the Frankenshuffle happened. That's awesome. I love it. Well, Mike, I would love for you to introduce yourself to everyone.
Oh, I'm Michael, guitarist for Traverse the Abyss. I like coffee and my cat, and that's
I
me.
love coffee too, for the record. I love taking a full pot of coffee, stick 3 straws in that puppy, tons of cream, tons of sugar, and drink that bitch straight from the pot.
Oh yeah.
Screw that cup. Why keep pouring yourself one after another? Just drink straight from the source.
The way to
I
do
hardly ever drink coffee. Once in a blue moon. That's it. I'm like hot chocolate, hot tea kind of person.
Oh, okay. Well, I like hot tea and hot chocolate, but it's got nothing on coffee for me.
I didn't start drinking coffee till like 3 years ago. All of a sudden, it just hit me. I don't know why. Now I can't stop drinking it. It's an addiction. Like I need it anymore. But I really appreciate you coming on. I know Eric was going to be on, and then last minute something happened with the family, and I understand. Things go wrong. Things come up, things can go wrong. I understand life happens. I know that. Trust me. I'm glad. I'm glad Marla was able to squeeze it in because she got involved with some last minute stuff herself. With the tornado that blew through the Midwest. It hit us in Chicago, but it hit Louisville even harder, and pretty much wiped out a lot of shit. And she's taking time out to still, she's like, I got this, and she popped on today, so I appreciate you, Marla, squeezing that in between, setting everything up for the fundraiser that's coming up.
Oh yeah, it's nonstop.
Always is, right?
Yeah.
So, so the rest of the band, what's up to them, when they get around to seeing this, but we'll go ahead and move forward. So you guys are from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, I'm from Chicago. Marla's from, Southern Indiana, like the Indianapolis, a little further south.
Okay.
So the band's been around for what, about 5 years now, right?
Yep, just about. I think we just hit the 5-year mark, actually.
Yeah. Well, happy anniversary, first and foremost.
Thank you.
It's amazing that you guys, seeing, knowing what you guys have done. I mean, you guys have done some shows with some awesome bands already. You've done what with Motionless in White, Attila, Upon a Burning Body, and so much more. And that's only in 5 years. And in 2 years, out of those 5 years, 2 years of it's during COVID. So, I mean, you guys have been doing some really cool shit, and just in such a minimal time with a huge interruption. The COVID bitch, she has overstayed her welcome. She needs to go. But I mean, but bands have, there's a bonus to it. Bands have been able to do a lot of really cool things during that downtime. A lot of them came up with music, new albums, this and that. What have you guys been doing during COVID?
Sorry, some of it was getting cut out, and I couldn't really hear too well. But by what I picked up off of that, we've definitely done some really awesome shows. One of them was Motionless, and then a couple other bands. And then COVID definitely screwed us up a lot because we were supposed to play with Devil Wears Prada, and they've been like one of my favorite, like my personal favorite bands.
Yeah.
Like in high school. And I think everybody in the band, except for maybe Jamie, he doesn't really listen to them too much. He's the other guitar player.
Okay.
But yeah, they're like one of all of our conjoined favorite bands. So that really sucked. And then with like all the restrictions and the shutting, like our area got hurt really bad with like local businesses. Oh, I know everywhere. But yeah, like it really sucked. But we were able to, in a way, I think that the whole COVID thing was actually quite a blessing to not just us, but I'm sure multiple people, as bad as it actually was or still is. It allowed us to take a breather from a lot of things that we were doing because we were getting kind of burnt out with certain aspects of it. It allowed us to appreciate things that we had a lot more and really hone in on what we were trying to do, which is when we came out with the Faucet Mouth music video, which is like another one of our funnier videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like it allowed us to just kind of take a step back and reevaluate the group. We ended up picking up Jamie during that time, which is again our other guitar player, and that's truly a blessing because he's awesome to have around. And it's just, I don't know, honestly, I'm as bad as it might sound, I'm kind of happy that the whole COVID thing happened worldwide for people. Like, unfortunately, yes, people have passed.
Yeah.
But and I feel terrible for the people that did and for their families and stuff. But overall, I think it was needed. That's just my personal opinion, and I think it really actually helped us a lot in a way.
You know what? I'm
I
gonna
will
actually
say-
have to. I'm gonna actually have to agree with that in a way. I'm sorry, Marla, for cutting you off. I'm actually gonna have to agree with that because I've been telling people, before COVID, so many people were just like, I hate my life, this and that. These, things can be better. This is going wrong. This is going like that's life naturally. Shit goes, shit happens, and it's gonna happen sometimes all at once. Where you just feel like that shitstorm is following you, and at the same time, as much as it, COVID has created a lot of tragedy, and still continues to.
Yeah.
There is a benefit because now people are starting to see how much more they have lost because of something that is completely out of their control. The invisible enemy is kicking everyone's ass, and now they're starting to see that everything that they had back then really wasn't so bad. The grass isn't always greener on the other side, and a lot of people are like, I just wish things were back to normal. And that's it looks like Sarah wants to pop on.
Yeah, I was going to say, the one thing I was going to was, yeah, my dad recently passed of COVID, and that was an eye opener for me on a lot of things of just feeling blessed still for who I have in my life and the people I have in my life. And as far as what you were saying about the COVID thing, Michael, was that I've heard that from a lot of bands. There's a lot of bands that like kind of split up for that, but the majority ones that I have been connected with have made that same statement on the fact that that gave them time to get closer, to be able to write songs, produce, spend that quality time and with them, not just within their own personality self, but within the band themselves, and have come out like wildfire, not only with just shows, but songs after songs, albums after albums. So that's the good part of that, you know. So I agree with you there.
I think it also kind of ended up separating the people that genuinely want to do it compared to the people that don't, like almost like a phase or ordeal, because a lot of bands ended up departing from one another once COVID hit, and
Yep.
then the the people that stuck it out are the people that genuinely like almost need it in life, if that makes any sense. Like you kind of can't live without it, and I think that also, I think that helped a lot with the music scene as well. Not saying that we're anything spectacular, but you have a lot of people that just pick up an instrument, just make a band, don't really know what they're doing, don't really have any music out there, and when it comes to a live performance, they're not really all that great. And no offense against them, you know, I mean, we were there at one time ourselves, but I think that it gives for local music a bad reputation and a bad name, because then when people go out to local shows and you have bands that have never done it before and really don't know what they're doing and are not that great live, it really turns away a lot of people, and which kind of sucks because then people won't give that an opportunity. But I think that this, I genuinely think that it's benefited a lot. Like if any of that makes any sense, I'm kind of bad at explaining things.
Yeah. It does make sense. You know, I never want to, specify, sometimes there are bands, that don't sound the greatest live, but it happens, but a lot of times, you find out the truth about himself. And I think a lot of bands did too, a lot about what they're really about and where they really stand with not just the band, just in life in general, when you start realizing how quickly things can be taken away from you,
Absolutely.
and it sucks. It really sucks, let's see. Tom says, hey, everyone from Tom's World. By any chance, you don't have a Sarah in your band, do you? You don't have Sarah. You don't have a female.
No, not
I didn't
us.
think
No.
so. Yeah, I didn't think so. I keep getting messages that Sarah keeps trying to talk. Anyway, moving on. So I'm glad you guys pushed forward. I'm glad you guys, kept going and, started doing your thing and put you to the test, and you guys came through. Like I said, in a short time that you guys have been around, 5 years, you still done a lot, even with, with the COVID bitch being in the way, so props to you guys on that. You're making your voices heard. And I love that. That's, I love the drive. I love people who are passionate about what they do. It's what shit. I'm passionate about you guys, and that's why I do everything. That's why, me and Marla do what we do. We love music. We love you guys, so thank you for being a badass. Tom from Tom's World said, people from Pennsylvania are awesome. Just saying. Roxanne Ramsey says, Varktech.
What is it?
Let's see. I got Roxanne here. I'll post it. It's from Roxanne.
Varktech.
No, you have no idea. I need to go either.
No. I'm off with names, so like, I mean, I'm not really sure what that is, but I might know. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, Well, maybe she can explain to us in a message later. So she's listening. So Roxanne, if you can explain that one, we have no idea what that's about. But anyway, moving forward. So I want to talk about quite a few things. Shoot, I got so much written down. How did you guys all meet?
Oi.
Like, how did the band meet? You know, when did everyone come into play? How did you guys come up with your band name?
Oh man. All right. Well, I can't lie, so I will tell the quick version of the real story.
Brilliant.
There was this girl that I hooked up with at one time, and the singer Eric also hooked up with her at a separate time, maybe at the same time. I'm not really sure.
This is why I love podcasts. We to get the juice. I love it.
I won't.
Yeah.
I'm open. I'm not one of those I'm not one of those journalists that are just like, oh my God, keep it clean. No, do it.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna, say anything. But yeah, I'm gonna avoid that. So anyway, this girl, I stopped talking to her.
Mhm.
I guess I have to say it.
Go for it.
I just feel awful saying it, and like everyone's different, and like everybody likes different things. And what she had, I didn't like, because it kind of was like an Arby's roast beef sandwich. If you cut the bread in half and have the roast beef hanging off, so if you understand what I'm getting at, there was a lot going on down there, and it wasn't my cup of tea, so I couldn't go through with anything. And then, so I ended up not talking to her. But then she randomly messaged me later on and was like, "Hey, since you play guitar, I know some people, and they're looking for a guitarist for their band." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Because I've always sat in my attic and played by myself guitar. Just clarifying. And I would do that. I'd do that in my bed.
Well, if you're gonna share women, you might as well share the stage, right? With the stage.
So then I was like, I guess I'll give this a try. And I was personally a nervous wreck. I was messaging them. I was actually talking to Eric, and his name was Phil. He was the drummer. So long story short, I decided to meet up with them. Oh, look at that! That's how I make it bright. And so then I met up with them, and funny enough, like I had like a nice sports car, and like I had my whole life together. Um, so I showed up after work, and I met them at a gas station. And while I was waiting, I saw these kids. I'm like only a year or two older than they are, but I saw these kids walking down the street in their pajama pants and stuff. And I had a message saying like, "Hey, we're almost there." And I'm looking at them, and I was like, "Oh God, I hope that's not them." And it turned out it was them, and they were thinking, "Oh, I hope that's him." And it's funny because we didn't find out about that until later.
It's
Um,
funny.
so then I went with them over to Eric's grandmother's, and
Right.
they're like, "Yeah, like let us play some music for you." And they were playing a band called 6 Feet Under.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Yep. 6 feet under is badass. Hell yeah.
for sure. And I personally had never heard of them before at the time. And I was like, wow, this is freaking awesome. Like, I thought it was them. And it turned out that it wasn't them. So then they ended up, I was like, wow, you guys are really like talented. Like, I don't even think I should join you because, like, I don't know if I could keep up. And they were like, well, that's
Shit.
not actually us. And I was like, oh, like, do you have any of your own stuff? And then they put on their stuff, and this is years ago before this band. This was like right out of high school. So then they put on a demo that they had, and honestly, it was wretched. It was god awful, and I I was like, absolutely not. So then I left, and they asked me if I was going to go to their practice, and I was just like, this is so bad. Why am I doing this? So I said that I would because I'm way too nice and I can't say no to people. So I ended up going to their practice, and it was in a basement of the drummer Phil's house. And when we got down there, it was terrible. Like the whole time, I just wanted to leave. And they ended up playing one of their songs called Medusa's Gaze. Oh, the lady left.
She probably, she has really bad reception where she's at in southern Indiana. She's kind of like in the middle of nowhere. She's
Uh,
she's closer to Indianapolis, but she's still like in very small towns. So her reception gets terrible. She pops in and out, so it happens.
I got you. It kind of cuts in and out sometimes, so I apologize if I missed something.
No, you're good.
But then they did a song called Medusa's Gaze, and Eric, who's our vocalist, he was doing at that time he was doing guitar and vocals. And I remember there was one part I was looking down, and I was actually kind of like getting into the song that they were playing, and it was I was like, man, this reminds me of like a snake or something. And I remember I looked up, and Eric was doing guitar and vocals, and the way that he was like getting into it, it just flowed with how I felt. Like he was like kind of moving like a snake, if that makes any sense. And at that moment, I was like, man, I'm completely sold on these guys now, because like, I don't know, I just felt like a connection with them. And then after that, we just kind of became like a family and hung out almost like every day. And that was with an old band of ours called
Mhm.
Without a Martyr. And we were that band that was not good and didn't know what they were doing. But eventually we progressed. Unfortunately, the band disbanded. I went my own separate way to a band called Threat Point, and I joined them, and was fortunate enough to like tour the whole country and stuff with them.
Nice.
Learned a lot of things from them. And then Eric, our vocalist now, came in, and he was playing bass for a while, I think like a year.
Yeah.
And then after it's a long story, but
Hey, it's okay. Tell that story.
well, I don't want to get into the full shindig of it, but he ended up disbanding from the group, and then I had complications in the group as well,
Mhm.
so like different mentalities and everything. So long story short, I ended up hitting up Eric again, found out that he was going to make a band, and then I was like, listen, I want to leave this, and I want to create another group again, start fresh, and do things the right way with like everything that we've learned and stuff.
Yeah.
And we ended up making this group. And so the original drummer, who's no longer with us, and the bass player Beanock, or that's his nickname, his name is Mike as well, and
Yeah.
then Eric and myself were the original founding members. And we've known each other since I was like right out of high school, about 19, I believe, 19 or 20. And they've known each other they all went to school together.
Yeah.
We have different members. Our current drummer, he's been a friend of all of us for like quite some time. Our new guitar player, Jamie, I went to high school with him. The way he came in was really cool. But like, we've all known each other for quite some time, and it's just really nice how it worked out.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad it worked out. And then you created Traverse the Abyss. So that's cool. So how'd you guys get the name?
Uh, Eric and I were brainstorming names back and forth. We'd have the group chat on Facebook Messenger, and we just kept going back and forth, back and forth. And I was actually super obsessed with a game called Dark Souls. Apparently, it's like one of the hardest games in the world or whatever. But I was like obsessed with it. And there's one spot where you go into like a boss battle, usually it says like traverse the fog, but there's one spot in it where when you go into one boss battle, it says traverse the abyss. And when I saw it, I was like, man, that sounds really cool. And then so I sent that, and it just was like, yeah, that's it. So it derived from that. But there is actually like meaning behind it. Traverses to like travel through, and abyss is darkness. So it's kind of like traveling through darkness, and it just kind of goes in line with the lyrics of our first album, which is The Gamble of Life.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a roller coaster album, and it's just all about like, we try to create positive, energy with the lyrics, and just about pretty much just life and getting through dark times and stuff like that.
Wow. That's a hell, dude. That's awesome though. I mean, that is a great name, and it's awesome that you got it from a video game. That's cool. And hopefully, there's no legal issues with that one. I hope you guys looked into that. You know,
No,
at least
just
not that you know of. But still, I mean, it's a cool name. It is definitely a cool name. Traverse the Abyss. And definitely was curious about that one. So you got my attention on that. But let's see how that explains that. So let's see. Go through a lot of these. So you were mentioning that there's a few of you who actually write your music, or is there one main writer for the music that you guys play?
So like I said, we normally do it based off of guitar riffs. Is like 9 times out of 10 what we do. When we first started, like I wrote all the. I would say I wrote 90% of the Gamble album. Um, it's basically like we all really dig something, and then either I'll spend a lot of my free time just working on it by myself, and then we go from there. Or lately, what it's been recently is well, now we have Jamie as well, so he can write as well. Like he comes up with guitar stuff as well. And the new stuff that we've been working on is my personal hands down favorite. I've never actually been excited about it something as much as I am now. But it's basically like that. And then I would say now it's more or less like we all sit in the room together, and everybody has something else that they like. So like everyone will make suggestions, and we'll try to come up with something. And recently, like there's been times where we'll have multiple practices where we don't get anything done because like we're just at a complete mind stale, like just stale fish, like can't figure anything out. But last practice was actually very nice, where everybody was chiming in and we came up with some really cool things. But it all really depends on the day, I guess. But recently it's been more or less everybody just kind of chimes in, and we base it off of feel. So it's like once we say we have like the first minute of a song, we'll keep playing it over and over until we get to that part, and then we'll try to see like, hey, what are you feeling here? And then somebody will mouth something like, I really feel like a wow, wow, wow. And it's usually wows and eos and all that kind of fun stuff. And then trying to trying to figure out what they mean by their noises that they're making out of their mouth, and then just go from there.
And that's how you create the lyrics too. That's great. Yeah, your lyrics are created from wow, wow, wow.
The
That is
lyric,
awesome.
the lyrics, I would say, are primarily Eric. Well, no, they anymore. It's just 100% Eric. Um, the Gamble, like the titles and stuff. It was just by chance that we came up with the titles, and it was actually our drummer at the time, Phil. He was the one that brought up how it sounded like when with the names that we were making that it was cards, and that's how Gamble came about. And all of the names are it's like a theme, I guess, based off of like card games and stuff like that. But that album, I think I wouldn't say anybody had any. They didn't write lyrics, but they had influence with the name title, or by saying like, this song makes me feel like I can conquer the world, and or this song makes me feel like it's a screw you to the government or something like that.
There should be a lot more songs like that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and then Eric, depending on mainly what he feels, if he feels the same way, but Eric, I would say is, he writes all the lyrics and stuff like that, and I think he does
Yeah.
an exceptional job. He's very, very creative.
So what would you say are the band's influences?
When it comes to other bands,
Yeah, other bands that help you create the ideas you do, not just for your music, but your videos and everything else. What has influenced you guys? I mean, you guys have a genre. You guys have like several genres in your music. You can't just and I love that about today's music. You can't place anybody in one spot anymore. It's you guys are very musically well rounded. You guys are hitting multiple genres, and I think that's awesome. And that's the best way to go, in my personal opinion. You know.
yeah. So I won't speak for anybody else really, just speak for myself. Um, as much as I love other people's music, I don't know a single cover. I never like. I learned, I think two, but it was like with the other band I was in, Threat Point, um, and that was like a covers that they were doing of covers, kind of. So
Right.
like the actual song. The only things that I've learned from other people's music are just from messing around and just being like, oh, this kind of sounds like this, and then just figuring something out really quick. Um, it's tough because like I personally don't listen to just metal. I listen to a lot of weird stuff. Like I am all over the place when it comes to music.
Weird
I will
stuff
go
like what?
like I listen to opera and classical.
There's
I
nothing
listen.
wrong with that. Some of the best singers are into opera and classic and jazz. I mean, that's the
They're
start
all,
of a lot of music. The beginning of everything.
yeah, and
Can you
like
sing opera?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Can you sing opera? Can you hit
Oh,
some
me?
notes? Yeah.
I, this is this is already too much interaction for me when it comes like I don't like not good at talking.
All right.
So
But you're
you
doing
know
good. You're doing good.
best. um yeah, singing is out of the question. Trying. Um but yeah, so like with music I personally am self-taught, and I think it's because of listening to such a wide variety of music. Like I'll listen to Russian rap, and then the next thing that comes on is
Mm,
metal, and then the next thing that comes on is like something goofy or whatever. Like I'm literally just like I'll listen to some country. Like I don't care what it is as long as it's music. Um, I appreciate other people's music, and as much as I say that I want to learn something, I don't do it, and I think I don't do it because I want to appreciate the fact that like it's their song, but like I don't know. Some people are covers and some people are original artists. I like to be original.
mhm.
I don't want to learn anyone else's music because I want it to be original. So I don't know if I don't know if that's the right thing to do because I feel like you could learn a lot from learning other people's music. So I think one reason why our stuff is so all over the place is, for the most part, I write the music, not the lyrics. Eric does lyrics, but for the most part, I write the music aspect of it. So because I'm constantly listening to all these other things, it depends on like the mood that I'm in. So like I might like I have like I love acoustic. I love playing acoustic music, but like I love playing funk and blues,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Like I primarily just like goofing around, but I think that's a huge reason why our stuff is all over the place, because of the fact that like I don't stick with one sort of writing style. I like to just always be doing something different because I don't think I would get I don't think it would be necessarily get bored of it, but like it's just always something different. It's basically like working in a factory or being a doctor. Like being a doctor, you're not going to be doing the same thing every single day. But working in a factory, you're just sitting on an assembly line, as an example. And I wouldn't want to be an assembly line person. And I also, there, we did like a lot of festivals and stuff. And personally, I am not speaking for anybody else. Um, one thing that I really struggle with is when we get thrown on some of these metal festivals, it'll be a lot of the same bands. And if they have local openers too, a lot of the local openers sound like those bands. Like everybody wants, like a new band comes out and they're like huge, everybody's trying to sound like them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the band that sounds like us, if that makes sense.
It
And
does. It totally does. You want to stand out from the crowd. You want to be heard for
yeah,
being you and being an individual band. And hell yeah, I completely see the. I mean, that's logical. Why blend in?
yeah.
I agree. I see the logic in that completely.
It's also a double-edged sword, though. Um, but yeah, so like doing those festivals, and you're sitting there from, you get there at 9 in the morning or 8 in the morning, and the doors aren't until noon.
Yeah.
So like, oh God. And then once the music starts, you essentially hear the exact same thing from noon until midnight. And it's like, my God, end my life, please, by the end of it, like for me. And because again, I like to be all over the place, but it's also a double-edged sword being different because like I noticed with us, say we play with a certain genre of music, this and there's say a headliner and two other really big bands, and then we're the opener. It's very hard to get the attention of people because you don't sound like those bands and they're there for those bands. So like I mean we put on a in my own opinion, we put on a great show, and from feedback that I've gotten from other people like listening, um, but it's very difficult when you're like when you're the country band playing with metal bands. We're that country, like we don't play country, but
I see what you're saying. I get
yeah.
it.
So like it's like everybody just kind of looks at you like you have two heads, and it's like, give us a chance. But when they actually do give us a chance, it goes over really well. And I think also like a really awesome thing about sounding different and having every song kind of sound different and not within one particular subgenre, it helps because we'll play an hour long set, and 99% of the people that I've ever talked to say like, oh, I can't believe you played for an hour. It sound like I thought you only played for like 15, 20 minutes. But there's other bands that'll play for 20 minutes and they're like, my God, this band, it seems like they've been playing for hours, because you're essentially hearing the same thing over and over. But that's
It does make sense though. But yeah, I totally get what you say. For me, I love hearing all bands. I try to make it to the beginning of the show. I'm notorious for being at least an hour late for everything. But I also I also have two jobs now. I have full-time day job, part-time night job, and in between all that, music, 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 music. And I'm tired, but what grabs me is the individual sounds, the individual music, the bands that do stand out, that do something different. It's like, they're still genre based in metal, but they're playing all different angles of it. And they do have to work harder. They do have to put themselves out there more and get noticed. And it's, some people are just set in their ways. They're just, some people are just set on this specific thing, this specific thing. Marla just sent me a message saying she's having issues coming back in. So she apologizes that she can't come back on. So she just sent me that message. I'm sorry, Marla. I don't know what's going on, but I'll figure that out later. But in the meantime, yeah, you got to work harder. You got to put yourself out there. You got to so it seems like you got to go an extreme level to really grab their attention, but you don't want to go outside of who you are at the same time.
Yeah.
And you got to work harder for that. And eventually that will get noticed. You will be heard. You will be seen.
Possibly.
Definitely. Never give up. Never give up. And don't listen to any of those people who say it's never going to go anywhere. You're this, you're that. Everyone hears that. All the bands hear it. We hear it. I mean, you name it. Everyone gets told that. Let those naysayers and the ones that are negative be the fuel that you need.
Yeah.
To, keep your fire burning. That way you can turn around and go, do you definitely do you. I mean, you guys are obviously growing. I mean, you got a 6K following in only a couple of years. I mean, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. You guys are growing. And, like I said, even with an interruption, that COVID bitch, you guys are still growing at a great rate. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else you guys got coming up. And, speaking of that, you guys actually do have a show coming up. I know that.
Get with Non-Point.
Pardon me?
It's with Non-Point.
Yes. Yeah, you guys got a Non-Point show going. Tell us about that.
Well, it was supposed to be a little bit ago in the past, but COVID took a hit on that one. Honestly, I get very confused and get lost with some of the shows. That one might not have been a COVID situation. It might have been something with their trailer. I don't remember. But it was either something with their trailer or COVID. One of those. They're essentially the same thing, right? So
More or less.
the show got canceled and it's
Mhm.
scheduled. So that one's coming up. And it should be a pretty good time.
Yeah, Wednesday. That's supposed to be what, January 22nd? Yeah, January 15th.
I'm happy you remember.
I got this. See, it's my job to do the research here. Okay, I will promote that show for you. January 15th. Non-Point, Dropout Kings, and of course, Traverse the Abyss, as well as a couple of other bands are going to be playing. I don't know, but somewhere in Pennsylvania. Do you know where it's going to be?
Yeah.
Do you know what venue you're going to be playing at?
It's one of there's two of them. It's either Reverb or it's one in Easton, one Center Square. I genuinely don't remember.
I do remember seeing it. Center Square. Okay, so January 15th at Center Square with Non-Point. Hey, yo, take that. That's awesome. Well, congrats on that. Really cool band. I don't know if you played with them before, but definitely really cool guys. Very cool guys. Are there any bands that you hope to share the stage with anytime in the future? What specific bands?
Personally, I am a big dreamer, I guess, but I would say Trivium, Lamb of God, and Bleed from Within or Silosis, and anything that I've been saying so far, I'm not like knocking anything, like like saying that like some of these bands sound the same and everything like that. It's not knocking anybody in any form of fashion or way. It's just like how I feel, and like I think that they're all awesome. Like a lot of the bands that we've already played with, I think are great bands, but they're not like my personal cup of tea. Like even Motionless, they're like a really big band, but I really don't go out of my way to listen to them at all. I genuinely can't even tell you a song name. I can't even tell you a song name of my favorite artists because I'm bad with names.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just because a band is a huge name, and they could be international artists. They can be worldwide, world renowned. Doesn't mean you got to like the music, just because everyone else does. I mean, there's a lot of bands that are out there. A lot of people are very shocked that I really don't care for. They're just like, really? And I'm like, not my cup of tea. It's like just, yeah, they're huge. Yeah, they're world renowned. Yes, there's millions of people who love them. Doesn't mean I gotta like them all. I do like most though, but there's a lot I don't either. So I get it. I know exactly what you're saying. You don't have to like everything that's out there. Nobody does, But still, I mean, you still share the stage with some cool bands, and you got some goals that you might reach. Never give up. You never. Never give up. You know, just keep putting those submissions out. You know, you got to pound your name into their heads. That's how you
Yeah.
do it. It's literally it's a mind game. You know, you got to put yourself out there, push the band out there, just start blowing up their emails. You know, and say, hey, here we are, here we are. Just keep doing it, keep doing it. Eventually, they're gonna be like, all right, we're gonna check out these guys. They're bothering the hell out of us. You know, and then you just might have that one person that goes, get their information.
Yeah, we might have to start promote us.
You know what? You were cutting in and out on me on that one. Say that one. Say it again.
Oh, I apologize. I was gonna say that maybe we'll have to start paying you to promote us and send out email stuff.
Well, that is a different conversation. I'd be more than happy to do. You know, the Savages, you know, we do the basic promotion for everyone. You know, we're happy to put out the flyers. We're happy to put out the singles. You know, things are sent to us all the time. You know, and it's basic, you know, basic stuff. But if you want push promotions, yes, we are available for that too, and that's a completely different conversation. So if you are serious about that and your band is game for that, I would love to talk to you guys. Obviously, another time, but always, yeah, absolutely. I can do more for you. There's more we can do. Absolutely.
Your drive and like your passion and ambition towards it.
It's strong. It's very strong.
I could tell. That's great.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a love for me too. I'm not a musician for shit, but ironically, I have a great ear for it, even though I'm half deaf. Legit, I am. I got one full great ear, you know. But it's. I mean, I love what I do, and I love all the bands, you know. So I'm definitely here for you guys, and there is more I can do. There's more the Savages can do. You just gotta get that phone call and get reached out to, and then we can talk. So don't hesitate. You know, talk with the band, see how they feel. Hit me up. But we'll talk about me another time. It's never about me. It's about you. So random questions. I'd like throwing in some random questions to get to know you personally. You know, like let's try one. Like, what is your biggest fear?
Boy. That's a hard question. God.
I'll give you an example. I'm terrified of spiders.
Yeah.
I hate those little bastards. And those alien centipedes that can grow 3 feet long and end up on your wall in the basement. I don't know where the hell they came from all of a sudden, but literally, I want to pull out my gun and just start unloading. You know, like, I hate bugs. I hate bugs, but spiders and those, I call them alien centipedes because they can be 3 feet long. What the hell? I'd rather have mosquitoes. I really would.
I guess my personal biggest fear would be the first thing that comes into mind. I guess would be getting close to people. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The fear of opening your heart. Nope.
Yeah. Like yeah.
I get it. You've got a wall built.
Being vulnerable is my biggest fear.
That's legit. That's legit. That's a solid fear, though, man. That is definitely a solid fear, and I get that.
Yeah,
but that makes sense. It does make sense. All right, let's change it up a little bit. And how about your most embarrassing moment on stage?
Oh, on stage? Geez, there's a lot of those. I think I'll go with this one. Yeah. This wasn't in this band. It was in the first band that we had as a group with the original members. We were playing the Vintage Theater in our local area, and it was completely like packed. Like, I believe that was that show. There was literally people, like the windows out like for the building are like pretty high up. Like, I'm 6 foot and I can't see through the window. Like, they're like up high. So there was so many people at this show. It's two floors. Like you have your bottom floor, then you have steps over here that go up to like a side balcony that oversees like the main floor, and the stage was here. There was people outside on each other's backs holding up on the windows just to see. Like it was like a really cool show. And I went behind our drummer. I always love running around in the crowd, which I wasn't able to do at that time because there was just too many people. But I love running around in the crowd and stuff, and like jumping up on bars and like everything like that. And so I went behind our drummer and I jumped up on top of the bass cabinet, like the speaker for the bass.
Right.
And I didn't realize there was a shelf sticking out of the wall. So when I jumped up on it, I was only like, if this was like the box, I was only like standing on the very edge of it, and then I had this shelf poking me in the back, so I was like arched, and I lost balance because the whole speaker was, you know, tipping over.
Right, because you're
And
on the edge, yeah.
yeah, so the speaker ended up tipping over, and I fell off of the speaker into the drummer, and he fell forward into his drum set, and the drum set fell forward.
Oh, damn.
I was laying on top of our drummer while still playing, and he's still
He's on
hitting
the
a
ground still hitting shit.
still playing while like the drums are literally knocked over, and he's like reaching trying to hit the cymbals and stuff, and like I'm playing laying on top of him, and I was like, oh man, I feel like absolutely embarrassed for falling and like knocking everything over. But
And you never lost a beat. You just kept playing.
Yeah, we just kept playing.
You're just like, ah! Just still hitting.
People literally came.
Oh my god, that's funny as hell. And then he falls over and takes out his own set, and he continues. Man, that's yeah. I'd be embarrassed as hell too. But props to you for keeping that shit and still going though.
We always keep it going. We never stop.
Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, I would be embarrassed as hell too. But that'd be some shit to see from the fans' perspective. And me being into promotions and doing photography, I'd be like Zoom. That is awesome. That is awesome. God, I wanted to. There's so many things I want to ask you, but we're gonna have to cut this short because I work, unfortunately. So
I didn't know how long you wanted to go for.
Typically we get, try to go at least 45 minutes to an hour, but if it could go longer, I'm game for it. But then it starts pushing in time. I do unfortunately have to go to my regular job at night. And I start that in an hour. So, I definitely would love to do, love to talk more. We can always talk, and, you can always hit me up on the side and shoot the shit, but definitely would love to have you guys on again. Maybe more of the band, when it's possible, but this has been awesome. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
So is there anything coming up for the band that you would like to tell the fans and tell the world to keep their eyes and ears open for?
Well, we've been dropping singles recently, and so after we dropped all these singles, we still have some more music that we have set aside. Part of those singles we were going to put out as like an EP, so we're going to be releasing that pretty shortly here. And then aside from that, we've just been working on more new music, so stay updated for the new songs that we'll be dropping. Other than that, definitely
I'm come check you guys out January 15th.
You're gonna?
No, you guys.
Oh.
No, you for the fans to come check you out if they're in the area, or any bands and musicians are touring through, Pennsylvania, to come swing by, check you guys out. You're playing with Nonpoint. It's gonna be a killer night.
Even if it's not us, as long as you're supporting your local musicians, I would 100% suggest go do that. Because
Absolutely. Always support the scene.
Yeah.
Support the scene strong and hard, and support everyone that supports the scene too.
Hell yeah.
We need that support too.
They're the best.
So what are some websites and like web addresses and places that fans can find you guys on?
You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. Just look Traverse the Abyss. Some people say Traverse. And we also have our own website. untitled.com. We're also on Big Cartel. I think that's about it that I can remember off the top.
So Big Cartel for for your merch gear and whatnot.
Yep.
Stop it. Sorry.
Oh, no bit.
It's my bad. But so yeah, that was awesome meeting you. Definitely, looking forward to seeing what else you guys got coming up. And why is he calling? I'm gonna turn my volume off. I'm sorry. He's probably watching too. Anyway, again, thank you so much. It was awesome meeting you, hon. And definitely look forward to talking to you soon.
Well, I appreciate it very much.
Awesome. So again, everyone, this is Mike from Traverse the Abyss out of Pennsylvania. Definitely check them out on Facebook and YouTube. They're definitely getting their name out there, and there's a good reason for it. So check them out. And you guys have an awesome night, and see you next weekend. And you have a good one.